I could feel him search in his mind for something he had forgotten, something he desperately wanted to remember, something he knew he should have known, and I felt it entirely eluded him. I felt it got further away from him as he sang. I heard that lonely, frantic searcher attempting to recall that thing that would save him. And I heard him give a little sob of defeat, and the song ended. Jim tried a few notes. He wasn't a good ear for music, but that was too powerful to forget. Just a few hummed notes. Jim hasn't much imagination, I guess, or when that man of the future sang to him, he would have gone mad. It shouldn't be sung to modern men. It isn't meant for them. You've heard those heart-rending cries some animals give, like human cries almost? A loon, now. He sounds like a lunatic being murdered horribly. That's just unpleasant. That song made you feel just exactly what the singer meant, because it didn't just sound human. It was human. It was the essence of humanity's last defeat, I guess. You always feel sorry for the chap who loses after trying hard. Well, you could feel the whole of humanity trying hard and losing. And you knew they couldn't afford to lose because they couldn't try again. He said he'd been interested before, and still not wholly upset by those machines that couldn't stop. But that was too much for him. I knew after that, he said, that these weren't men I could live among. They were dying men, and I was alive with the youth of the race. They looked at me with the same longing, hopeless wonder with which they looked at the stars and the machines. They knew what I was, but couldn't understand. I began to work on leaving. It took 6 months. It was hard because my instruments were gone, of course, and theirs didn't read in the same units, and there were few instruments anyway. The machines didn't read instruments. They acted on them. They were sensory organs to them. But Rio Lantal helped where he could. And I came back. I did just one thing before I left that may help. I may even try to get back there sometime to see, you know. I said they had machines that could really think, but that someone had stopped them a long time ago and no one knew how to start them. I found some records and deciphered them. I started one of the last and best of them and started it on a great problem. It is only fitting it should be done. The machine can work on it not for 1,000 years, but for 1,000,000 if it must. I started 5 of them, actually, and connected them together as the records directed. They are trying to make a machine with something that man had lost. It sounds rather comical, but to stop to think before you laugh. And remember that Earth as I saw it from the ground level of Neva City just before Rio Lantal threw the switch. Twilight. The sun has set. The desert out beyond in its mystic changing colors, the great metal city rising straight-walled to the human city above, broken by spires and towers and great trees with scented blossoms, the silvery rose glow in the paradise of gardens above. And all the great city structure throbbing and humming to the steady gentle beat of perfect, deathless machines built more than 3,000,000 years before and never touched since that time by human hands. And they go on. The dead city, the men that have lived and hoped and built and died to leave behind them those little men who can only wonder and look and long for a forgotten kind of companionship. They wander through the vast cities their ancestors built, knowing less of them than the machines themselves. And the songs? Those tell the story best, I think. Little, hopeless, wandering men amid vast, unknowing, blind machines that started 3,000,000 years before, and just never knew how to stop. They are dead, and can't die and be still. So I brought another machine to life, and set it to a task which in time to come it will perform. I ordered it to make a machine which would have what man had lost, a curious machine, and then I wanted to leave quickly and go back. I had been born in the first full light of man's day. I did not belong in the lingering, dying glow of man's twilight. So I came back. A little too far back, but it will not take me long to return, accurately this time. Well, that was his story. He didn't tell me it was true, didn't say anything about it, and he had me thinking so hard I didn't even see him get off in Reno when we stopped for gas." "But he wasn't an ordinary man," repeated Jim, in a rather belligerent tone. "Jim claims he doesn't believe the yarn, you know, but he does. That's why he always acts so determined about it when he says the stranger wasn't an ordinary man." "No, he wasn't, I guess. I think he lived and died, too, probably sometime in the 31st century. And I think he saw the twilight of the race, too."